Travel back in time with a trip inside the Iowa's News Now vault.
Decked out in his size 9 shoes, Governor Terry Branstad threw the ceremonial first ball to officially kick off the WIBC tournament. He left no pun unsaid as he delivered his welcome address to a packed house.
This is, I understand, the 72nd Annual Women's International Bowling Congress Championship Tournament. It's a kind of event that is right up our alley here in Iowa. Well, I worked hard on this speech, I want you to know. I wanted to be able to relate to the audience.
WIBC officials say more than 45,000 women bowlers will travel to Cedar Rapids during the next 2.5 months. They'll compete for part of a $900,000 pot. Many of them say they're already receiving a down-home Iowa welcome.
It is easy to see why Cedar Rapids is called the City of 5 Seasons. After the WIBC tournament, maybe Cedar Rapids will be known as the City of 6 Seasons. With the addition of course, the bowling season to that list.
This is the first time Iowa's hosted the WIBC tournament. City officials are banking on much-needed revenue and a shot at the national spotlight when the finals begin May 12th.
We want to keep Cedar Rapids green, Governor, that's true. But more importantly than that, we want you to have the feeling of friendship that exists in this community.
We feel our greatest resource in Iowa is our people, and we all can do so much to be sure our visitors from all over this great country of ours leave Iowa and Cedar Rapids with a good impression.
1 second.
After the speeches, the ribbon was cut and the bowling began.
There are a lot of rooms like this tonight in Cedar Rapids. Rooms in hotels and motels that are not occupied by women bowlers.
There's not quite as many women in here right now as we all thought there would be.
Alan Zaza is one of about a dozen hotel managers who are disappointed by low occupancy rates this first week of the tournament. They're worried that attendance is not going to be as high as anticipated.
This Super 8 motel is full every Wednesday night of the year. The rooms are usually all sold by noon. Well, it's noon now, and the manager says she has 12 rooms left.
We anticipated 80% occupancy, and the rest would be walk-ins. We haven't quite made it so far.
Well, they're coming. Just hang in there.
Garrett says at least 45,000 people are coming for the bowling tournament, but they're not all going to be here at the same time. During the tournament, which started last week, there will be an extra 1,500 to 2,000 women in town per day. During the convention, there will be more than 7,000 extra people in town per day. That's April 18th through the 24th. During that convention week, many hotels and motels are full, but not before and not after.
I guess the message that we want to convey is that our hotels are eager for business from our local corporate level. Our restaurants are eagerly looking for local patronage, and all I can say is bon appetit, and let's go and support our local industry. That's very, very important to us.
Maggie Jensen, Channel 2 News, Cedar Rapids.
I've been to the dog races and have a dandy hangover today.
Pat Duty fits the profile we've been given of the typical woman bowler. She likes to party and she likes good service.
So how's Cedar Rapids?
Wonderful. Personality plus with everyone.
This time, especially this afternoon and this evening, is maybe the delegates' best opportunity to get out and actually see the city that they're in.
Here you go. Here's some information on Cedar Rapids.
The huge crowd of bowlers we've heard about for the last 4 years is here. 3,000 convention delegates plus 2,000 of their family members plus another 600 bowlers per day are all here through next Wednesday. And the city is working hard to make sure these women enjoy themselves.
We're on a roll!
We've been monitoring everything very, very closely, and from what I understand, everything's going just as smooth as possible right now.
Hotel and restaurant managers had said they were disappointed. They weren't seeing more bowlers earlier in the month. Well, that situation has changed. Almost every hotel in the city is fully booked tonight.
We'll be full Thursday through next Wednesday, when they'll depart after the convention is over at 3 o'clock.
Some women will come to the convention without having made a room reservation, but that does not mean they will not get a room.
If we did not have one, we would call the Cedar Rapids Convention Bureau, who's keeping track of all the hotels with empty rooms.
Very historic day.
There are 3 peak capacity days ahead for Cedar Rapids' hospitality industry. If the hotels and restaurants can make it through Wednesday afternoon without any major mishaps, they will have created a reputation for Cedar Rapids as a city that can handle big conventions, and that could mean a lot of money in the future for Cedar Rapids. Maggie Jensen, Channel 2 News, Cedar Rapids. The environmental fair is a seemingly innocuous event. For the last 9 years, groups which belong to the Lynn County Environmental Council set up booths in the mall to educate the public about their activities aimed at preserving and protecting the environment. Some of the groups, like Pheasants Forever and Ducks Unlimited, include many hunters. Audrey Ron is extremely opposed to hunting.
Animals, this is their world too, and they have a right to their place in this world.
Last year, Audrey went to the environmental fair at Westdale and demonstrated against the hunters. This year, when she heard the fair was going to be held at Lyndale Mall, she protested to mall management.
I told her that I did not want to shop at a mall that was going to display animal pelts and guns and traps.
A spokesman for Lyndale says many people on both sides of the issue contacted the mall. Doug Klein says all of that input was taken into account in making the decision to not allow the fair to be held at Lyndale.
I mean, it's crazy. You know, it's just, it really is. They're really fanatics as far as I'm concerned.
Knowles, members of his group, and members of other hunters' groups are still smarting over the mall decision. He says they feel animal rights activists misunderstand the issue of hunting.
It'd just be killing them if we let deer by the thousands populate, and they're either going to be managed, or they're going to overpopulate and starve to death, or they're going to be diseased to death.
A spokesman for the Environmental Council, Denny Gumate, says the fair could still be held this year, perhaps in conjunction with some other outdoor event in Lynn County this summer. But he says the council will not take part in any disputes involving its member agencies. Maggie Jensen, Channel 2 News, Cedar Rapids. They came out in groups of 20 or more, women dressed in matching outfits in search of food. Restaurants filled in a matter of minutes.
I'm going to take all your names. I still have some tables that are available. And then we've not only prepared ourselves here with some additional seating and with the carts outside, I think we can do a lot, but there's a lot of people.
Lee says Gringos served 162 lunches today in 1 hour. He says he had maybe 10 tables of regulars.
People who work and eat lunch downtown may think there's no room for them in the restaurants, but that's not necessarily true.
Here at the Drake Salad Bar, they say they can serve 260 lunches in an hour. It's a couple of blocks from the convention center, and there were more local people eating here.
I've been getting the word out, please don't stay away. We'll take care of you, whether it's on carry-out, earlier, later, at noon, we'll take care of you.
Can I help somebody?
The food court on the second floor of the Armstrong building was not close to being full, but the exhibitors at the craft show downstairs were having a very good day.
We had a little idea of what to expect, but this has turned into even a greater than our expectations.
Bottom line is there were plenty of seats for lunching bowlers and regulars in the downtown restaurants.
And the lady bowlers are a lot of fun to be with, so if you want to have a good time over lunch, come on out and visit with them.
Maggie Jensen, Channel 2 News, Cedar Rapids.
On April 4th, the WIBC promised its tournament would dump at least $25 million into the area's economy. With the tournament winding down now, many wonder whether that promise came true. The city's Convention and Visitors Bureau stands by those numbers, and then some.
Just bowlers alone will come somewhere around $46,000. And they estimated there was probably another 10,000 to 12,000 followers that came with the bowlers. So on a very conservative cost factor, we feel that $25 million is probably pretty close to target.
WIBC officials estimate each woman bowler spent an estimated $505 during their 3.5-day stay. Did they get their money's worth?
It's so green, and the sky is so blue, and there's no smog and no traffic jams.
Oh, we got some good buys today.
We power shop.
Power shopping.
The folks here in Cedar Rapids had was that they were well prepared for us coming in, whether it was through talking to folks in other tournament cities who've hosted, talking to WIBC headquarters. They had a really good idea of what to expect, and therefore it was very easy to work things out.
Both Whitney and Garrett claim just a couple of problems surfaced during the tournament.
Well, I think maybe having the restaurants open a little bit later, that could have been a factor that it could have been a more positive.
I would suggest that Cedar Rapids change the names of their streets in the downtown area, because you've got First Avenue crossed by First Street. It was really difficult.
Besides that, WIBC officials have virtually no complaints about Cedar Rapids or its hospitality. But they do have a few words of advice for Lansing, Michigan, the host of next year's WIBC tournament.
If Lansing next year goes exactly the same that Cedar Rapids did, I think we'd be very happy.
In Cedar Rapids, Chris Peddlety, Channel 2 News.